welcome back. If you are new to my videos, which, let's be real, this is my second video, most of you are new. Welcome, my name is Sarah. I am an applicant in the 2021 Formula Woman series, which you can find out all about in my first video, which I will link down in the description. But this video is going to be sort of like a random F1 related video, and the reason that I'm doing these is that at the moment we are still in the early stages of the Formula Woman process, and I want to make sure the channel keeps going, and this is actually a lot of fun. So I'm going to be recreating the F1 First and Last video, which was done with the drivers a while back. I actually only watched this recently and found it absolutely hilarious and was like, why don't I do it on my channel? So here we are. If you want to watch the driver version, I will put that down in the description as well, but please do wait and watch mine first. So obviously, Formula One drivers, you've got to ask them, what was their first car? Mine was an Opel Corsa, a forest green Opel Corsa, Vauxhall for those of you from the UK. It was a 1 litre engine, so I could go full throttle and still be under the speed limit. And it ran on about, I want to say €20 worth of petrol for every month. So it effectively ran on air, which as a college student was absolutely ideal for me. I inherited it from my granddad and I called it Shelley because at the time I was obsessed with The Big Bang Theory and my favorite character was Sheldon. Who else? And I knew obviously that cars and generally machinery are called she or her. So I was like, oh, I really want to name my car Sheldon, but I can't, it's just wrong. So I chose the closest female name, which was Shelley. And I'll insert a picture of her somewhere here because she is actually rusting at the moment in my parents' driveway and we just can't bring ourselves to get rid of her. We're also asked, what is the first app that you open in the morning? Mine for a very long time, longer than I would like to admit, would have been Instagram. I'm slightly addicted to social media. I have been getting better at it over the past couple of months, but it takes an awful lot of work to stay away from it. And now I open the mindfulness app first. So during lockdown, similar to everyone else, stress was at an all-time high. I work from home and I really just needed something to get my head straight and set me up for the day as well as I possibly could first thing in the morning. So luckily, first thing in the morning, I take 10 or 15 minutes and do a quick meditation and a stretch, which I find really helpful since I'm about to sit down for 9 hours, just to get myself moving. So that is the first app that I open, closely followed by WhatsApp. I have a lot of friends and family that live in all 4 corners of the world, so always in contact with them, and WhatsApp is definitely our preferred method of communication for that. The first time that I got in trouble, so I've cherry picked these because obviously I would be here all day if I did every single first and last question that they asked in the driver version of the video, but this one I actually found really difficult. So as the eldest sibling, I sort of made it my brand not to get in trouble because that was what benefited me the most and got me in my parents' good graces the most. So I actually couldn't really think of the first time I got in trouble, which I kind of don't know whether to love or hate that, but here we are.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Okay, this next one I am very excited about because it is another passion of mine. The question was, what was your first tattoo? So I'm gonna put photos of my tattoos somewhere around here, but I now have 5 of them. I have gotten one every year for my birthday as my birthday present to myself for the last 5 years. Obviously had to skip 2020 because tattoo parlors were not open. Hoping to get another one very soon. I'm absolutely itching to get a new tattoo because it's been so long. My first tattoo though, it's on my back by my shoulder blade and it's an infinity symbol that says rise above it. And really what that is just a constant reminder that no matter what is getting me down, I need to do my very best to just rise above the adversity and just think of the positives where I can, or the places that I can make the negatives less negative. So definitely something that was very personal to me. All of my tattoos thus far have been very, very personal. Let me know once you see the pictures if you want me to do a tattoo explainer. I have no business as a YouTuber. If people are interested, I will absolutely do it because I love tattoos and I love my tattoos and they are all very sentimental, so I love sharing the stories behind them. Okay, so before we get on to the last section of the video, I actually want to go back a little bit and take a spin on another F1 video that they did with the drivers where they asked them about their earliest F1 memory. And I've been watching Formula 1 since I was 10 years old and I'm nearly 3 times that age now. Kind of giving it away, but it was actually my mum who introduced me to the sport, which I absolutely love because it just embodies, you know, everything the Formula Woman is about. She transferred her love of motorsport to me and I have carried it on ever since, and we still watch races together all of the time. As a matter of fact, I've never been to a Formula 1 race, even though I've had the opportunity to go, because my mum and I have a pact that we won't go until we can go together, and that opportunity has not arisen yet. So we're holding out for each other. I really hope it happens soon, but you know, COVID and everything, so who knows, maybe 2022 has it in store for us. The thing that I really remember about Formula 1 is the noise, and a couple of the drivers said this as well. It was just like nothing I had ever heard before. Just the sheer loudness of it, but also the vibration. You could almost feel the vibration coming through the TV. And I just remember being absolutely awestruck by it. And especially the sound of the cars going around the corners. Whatever about the straight, we all know the speed is amazing, but the skill and the speed that they took through the corners just never failed to amaze me. And we also had, in the early 2000s, we had one of the old Ferrari cars, so this is Michael Schumacher, early 2000s era, come to a petrol station in our local area, and I got to go and see it with my mum. And I just remember how bright and vivid and vibrant that red of the Ferrari was, and also how big the car was. TV really doesn't kind of display the scale of these cars because everything is passing by so quickly. We get a lot of helicopter shots, a lot of things like that, and a lot of onboard camera, which is fantastic, but I think a lot of people would underestimate the actual size and particularly the width of a Formula 1 car. And even back then, the cars weren't as big as they are now, so I can only imagine, based on some of the videos that I've seen of the drivers literally clambering into their cars, how big they are now. Next one that I picked from the video is the last time you were scared. This isn't the last time, definitely, but the time that I was recently most scared, I think, is when I got evacuated from a flight traveling from Sydney to Perth. So I was living in Perth, Australia at the time, and I had gone to the US for a work conference and came back via Sydney. So I'd already been on the San Francisco to Sydney flight, which is something like 13 hours or something horrible like that. And luckily, really short layover from the Sydney to Perth flight. I'm so happy, on the plane, exhausted, can't wait to get back home to Perth. And we are taking off and they tell us after about 30 minutes that, look, there's an issue with the plane. We're communicating with ground control and it looks like we're going to be able to carry on to our final destination without having to stop. So I've never had any sort of like emergency landing or any sort of plane drama in all the years that I've been flying. But that kind of worried me even in itself that they were telling us that. So about 30 minutes after that, they tell us that we have to turn around and go back to Sydney. So obviously everyone is really pissed off. We get back to Sydney pretty quickly. We're told you don't need to leave the plane, you don't need to go back to the terminal. They can fix it as we're sitting here on the runway. Great. Sitting here on the runway, and all of a sudden the cabin starts filling with smoke. it's never a good look when your cabin starts filling with smoke, even when you're on the runway. So I kind of noticed it, and then I was like, is anyone else seeing this? And we went from total calm to all of a sudden all of the cabin crew literally screaming at us to get off the plane right now, and I had nothing with me. They told us to take nothing. I'm a rule follower. I was terrified. I took nothing. I didn't even take my phone, and I was stuck in Sydney airport for hours. No phone, no wallet, nothing, just literally sitting and waiting, and they had to get all of us onto different flights back to Perth. Luckily, I managed to get back that same night and didn't have to wait until the following day, but it was definitely one of the scariest and most stressful experiences of my life, and I would not wish it on anyone. The last that I'm gonna do is the last WhatsApp group you joined. Some of the drivers' answers to this were really funny. Seb Vettel says he doesn't get invited to any WhatsApp groups because he's not popular. I love his self-awareness. But the last WhatsApp group that I joined was organising celebrations for a friend's birthday. I will not give away any more detail than that because that friend will probably watch this video and I don't want to give away anything. But yes, I have too many WhatsApp groups. I think anyone that uses the app is in this predicament at this point. They go back years and years and I don't even remember what half of them are for anymore. I'm really terrible for filming outros. I realized when editing my previous video that I just didn't do an outro, and I was just kind of like, it's okay. But I'm gonna make a bigger effort from now on to film outros. Please do go and watch my first video. I will include it in the end card right after I stop rambling. And yeah, just to explain what Formula Woman is, and also I unboxed the welcome pack, which was very exciting, so please do go check that out. I've actually already been connected with a couple of the other applicants on social media through folks interacting with the video, which I'm absolutely loving. Not feeling like I'm sort of in a vacuum is really nice. And yeah, like I said earlier, my goal is to keep posting weekly, and it'll be a mix of Formula Woman related videos as the process kind of continues, and also just random chatty Formula One related videos like this one. So if you do like what you're seeing, please do subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.